Good shot. Oh my!
Here to celebrate Georgetown! The Georgetown Raiders are Buckland Cup champions!
The Trenton Golden Hawks, the R. Hewitt Cup champions, are going to Coburn.
Back to Minerva. Shot scores! And the Coburn Cougars are the Royal Bank Cup champions!
Milton, the Ice Hawks, so maligned all season, but they've upped their game recently, and it paid off with just their third win of the campaign last week. Highlights of that coming up later on in the show. This is the OJ Today. Welcome, everybody. I'm Alex Bastiavansky. On today's show, Jamie Neugebauer will join me via Skype to talk about the insane battle that's been going on for first place in the South Division. Also, Pickering won just 9 games last season, but this year they turned things around big time and are currently holding down the 8th and final playoff spot in the Northeast. And we'll have a feature story on the Panthers today. But first, OJ, game highlights. And for the Mississauga Chargers right now, every game is significant. At the moment, they're on the outside looking in at the playoff picture in 10th spot in the Southwest. Now, a win against visiting Buffalo last Monday would go a long way towards their postseason aspirations. OJ Highlights now brought to you by Cool Sports, official apparel provider to the OJHL.
And Mississauga played like the desperate team they are in this game. Right off the bat, top 5 nominee, Brandon Yeamans, slicing and dicing the Sabres. Oh, baby. That makes it 1-0 Chargers. Buffalo knots it up in the second. On the power play, Adam Tredowitz converts the pass, and it's a 1-1 stalemate, but all saga for the rest of the period. Lucas Kells beats the screened Brian George right there, and the Chargers back on top. It's 2-1, and then Jake Gravel. Talk about a members bounce here. Off the boards, off George's back, and in. Did he call it? The perks of playing in your home rink. Wow, Mississauga pads its lead to 3-1. Midway through the frame, Orion Hexamer, his persistence paying off as he finally bangs it home. And it's 4-1 Chargers at the break. Third period now, they add some extra insurance. On the PP, Jake Ravel takes the pass. He goes roof daddy, his second of the game. And it's 5-1. Now, to the Sabres' credit, though, they never throw in the towel. Tredowitz splits the wickets on Luca Durante for his second of the game, cuts the deficit to 5-2, and then nobody watches Matt Jakubowski out front, and he will just tip it home. That'll make it 5-3 Saga, but that's as close as the Sabres would get as the Chargers pick up 2 crucial points. They're now just 3 out of 8 spots as they continue to fight for a playoff berth in the conference. Those Sabres, also in Aurora last weekend, pick it up in the second after a scoreless first. Brian Zarowski pushing it past Bradley Van Schubert. 1-0 for the Americans. The Tigers respond less than 2 minutes later, though. Luca Esposito on the doorstep finally gets it to go. All tied up at 1 apiece. But then, don't blink, Trevor Pekka pulling the trigger. What a one-timer. Channeling Papa Mike, I think, on that one. Sabres back up. It's 2-1. Third period, though, the Tigers equalize. Austin Eastman. What a pickup this guy's been as he tips the shot home right there. It's 2-2, and these guys were going to double overtime.
Now it hits a stanchion on a Joey Mizzi. He can dance with the best one. Mizzi now has it. Got Girardi. Girardi the shot. Chris Girardi now. Stick handles with it now. He'll be going to Western Michigan. Girardi with a setup score! Joe Mizzi wins it at home for tie. 3:31. Oh my, what a setup!
A great goal and great call by Kevin Dean. Okay, Orangeville in Georgetown. The Flyers unlucky early on. Nathan Torkia beaten, but the crossbar backs him up. So close. Second period, Torkia comes up huge. Flyers 2-on-1. Eric Deander robbed by the young Raiders keeper. Definite top 5 nominee. That is G-Town drawing first blood. It's new pickup Dominic Dumas. Double D getting his second as a Raider to give them the 1-0 lead. And then Jonathan Hampton with the wicked wrister over the shoulder of Eric Donor. May have taken a slight deflection. Regardless, it's 2-zip. Third period, G-Town puts it out of reach. Matty McJanet to Andrew Court for one of the easiest goals he'll get all year. Nicely done as the Raiders continue to roll. Torquia with the shutout. 3-0 G-Town final. One more before the break. Coburg taking on Newmarket. Second period, Cougars think they've taken the lead. Nice wrister by Sam DeLucia. In it goes, but hold on. Great work by cameraman Steve Mitchell here. Hand pass, the goal disallowed. Ouch. Canes draw first blood. Alex Iarullo. Bad guy to leave unattended. 20 goals on this season for the sniper, and that's a nice one. 1-zip Newmarket. Third period, and this is a weird one. The Cats were screaming. The Ryan Hunt used his hand right there, but the officials didn't see it that way. 2-zip for the Canes, and then finally, Cole Thiessen will put this one in from his knees, and yeah, the empty netter just squeezes in. 3-0 as Newmarket keeps pace with Aurora. The top spot in the North Division. They trail the Tigers by 4 points currently. Okay, OJ commitments for this week. Mitchell Martin of Wellington. He will be heading to Canisius on a scholarship in 2018-19. And Connor McCacker, the stud for the Coburg Cougars, will be heading to Robert Morris in 1920. Congrats to both players on your commitments. OJ Trivia. What current Vegas Golden Knight played in the OJ for Bowmanville during the 2003-2004 season? First correct answer, R. Morocco at the OJHL.ca wins a prize pack.
Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ today, and I am happy to have our good pal Jamie Neugebauer back on the show from Regina, Saskatchewan right now, covering the Notre Dame Hounds, but he's still the social media director for the Toronto Patriots and following the league very closely. Nugsy, how's the Saskatchewan winter so far, buddy?
As advertised, cold, windy, blistery, you name it, we got it, but it's fun.
Well, it warms your heart, though, to know that your Patriots, who you still write stories for and stuff and cover the team, are doing so well this year. We'll get to them in a second. First of all, we're covering the entire South Division today. One of the best four-horse races we've seen in some time in this league. Just talk about that, because it's been absolutely cutthroat so far this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, early in the year I tweeted that the South is the new East, and it's certainly proven to be the case. And especially when they face each other, it's an absolute war. They know each other well, so it's always fun to watch.
Your team, the Toronto Patriots, has right now established itself as the team to beat in the OJHL this year. They're leading the overall standings, led by main man Andrew Petrucci, who just signed. He's going to be an RIT Tiger next year, so great for him. But your impression of what you've seen from your Patriots this year thus far?
Oh, well, as I mentioned right before we started the broadcast here, I've never been affiliated with a forward core like this. When the Pats went to the RBC Cup in 2014, they had amazing goaltending, great decor and enough offense. But this is an offense, forward core that I have never seen before in the OJ, and they're fun to watch. They're deep top to bottom. There's not a lot of holes in this roster, though, anywhere. Absolutely.
They've been so much fun to watch so far. North York right now, I mean, this is changing daily. But North York right now is in second place. No superstars on this team, even though they've got Vegas draft pick Nick Campoli. Points-wise, no Petrucci's on that team or Dante Spagnolo's, but they've really had scoring by committee so far, and they've had a fantastic season so far as well, haven't they?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about this today. I don't know if you see too many teams with this much major junior experience. Of course, they added Graydon Gottschalk from the O. They added Josh Dame. They added Fedor Rudikov from the Western Hockey League. So they're a team with a lot of depth from top to bottom, and Jeff Schmogi has them playing a real gritty, tough game to play against. They'll be tough for anybody in the playoffs, including the Patriots.
The Oakville Blades now. The Blades, they got a bit younger this season. They obviously lost some significant talent who went on to NCAA after last season, but just a ton of talent this year. And as I mentioned, a bit younger. The Blades been doing great all season. They've slipped just a little bit over the last little bit, down to third place right now. But your impressions of what you've seen from the Blades so far?
Well, Mike Tarantino a couple of years ago said, I that this team will be tough, and this team has actually been better on the road than they have been at home. I don't know how many times you see an Oakville Blades team that's tougher on the road, but they have a hard time scoring goals lately. They'll admit it. They added Eric Uba, which was a great pickup from Wellington, the Flint Firebirds prospect. He's been great for them. Big shot kid, but they're a great team. They've got maybe the best D pairing in the league, and Matt Kellenberger and Jeff Clark, and great kids. Love them to death. They'll be tough for anybody. They're struggling a little bit lately, but they'll find that they're a good roster as well.
Absolutely. The junior Canadians, lots of eyes on the JRCs this year, of course, with a guy who's projected to go in the first round of the NHL draft, the Jack McBain. But of course, great scoring as well by Sampson, as well as Joffe. I mean, they've scored a lot of goals this year, the junior Canadians have. Right now, sitting in fourth place, but I mean, again, that is changing daily as we speak. What do you think of the JRC so far?
Yeah, well, they always seem to play hard for Jeff Angelides. There's no doubt about that. They really went with a skating decor, and maybe they struggle when teams are heavy on them. Obviously, they added Daniel Verte also recently from the Ontario Hockey League. He should be a very nice pickup for them. A lot of experiences playing on his fourth team actually this year is Verte, but they don't have a ton of depth, to be honest. They get a lot of scoring from McBain and Joffe and Sherman, I should say, and Verte will help, but they rely on those guys and Jeremy Smith on the back end quite a lot to put pucks in the net, and they do it. I don't know if the team defense is there. They're always going to play hard for Angelides, though.
All right, just really quick, what are your thoughts on Jack McBain? Has mentioned so much attention on him this year. Do you think he's lived up to the hype?
Yeah, no, it's hard to say because the hype machine for OJHLer is something that I haven't seen in a long time. He's a guy that has all the tools. He's big. He can skate. He plays big minutes. He got huge opportunity, huge minutes of the World Junior A Challenge and took advantage. So, give him credit. He gets a lot of ice time. He uses it well. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to do very well, and he's going to grow a lot, mentally, mature a lot at Boston College in the future. So definitely worth taking a flyer on late in the first round.
Okay, let's try and cover St. Mike's and Mississauga quickly. St. Mike's right now holding down the 7th seed for the playoffs in the Southwest, led by Cameron Searles. What do you think about St. Mike's, and are they a team that could potentially pull off a surprise in the playoffs?
Well, one thing that I'll say about St. Mike's is that they're very, very young, and one thing about young teams is that they get better as the year goes on. And obviously, you didn't mention Nick Zabina there, but Nick Zabina is a guy that's as fun to watch as anybody in the OJHL, and maybe he gets drafted somewhere else. With no disrespect to Saginaw in the OHL, maybe he is in the OHL. He has that type of ability. He's that quick, boys. He's lightning, and so are the Jackson twins. They're fun to watch, so they'll be a fun team to watch, and they'll compete.
Absolutely. About 45 seconds, Nugsy. Let's talk about Mississauga. They lost a lot of talent at the trade deadline, unfortunately, for Joe Washkarak. But you know what? They're still bringing it. They've actually been playing very well lately. May not always be getting the wins, but they bring it every time they step on the ice. 5 points back at that last playoff spot. What do you see happening with Mississauga down the stretch?
Well, yeah, when you put Luca Durante in net, you never know that he can really steal a game. He's probably as good as his brothers, so he's got the bloodlines. Jake Ravel was a guy that many people thought might be in the OHL this year. He's proven himself to be a very good player. He's got a lot of opportunity in the OHL this year too. So they're a team that you can't take lightly. They got rid of their 97s, but I've been a big Brandon Yeamans fan for years too, and he's a big leader for that team. So you can't take them lightly, and give Joe and his team a lot of credit.
As always, our time goes so fast, buddy. Hope you're enjoying winter life in Saskatchewan. We will catch up with you over the next few weeks. Thanks for being on the show, my friend.
Thanks. I'm enjoying the SJ.
Okay. More OJ today coming up in just a second. Hey, folks, welcome back to the OJ Today. Well, to say that Milton has had a tough time this year would be quite the understatement. The Ice Sox have been icing a young lineup all season, and wins have been hard to come by. But lately, the squad has shown a significant improvement where once they were getting blown out, the Hawks have been keeping games close, and their persistence paid off last week against Stouffville.
The Spirit have been struggling themselves this year, just 8 wins thus far. Zach Sirota gets the party started, 14-22 win. Johnny on the spot. 1-0 for your Milton Ice Sox, but the home squad would respond off a howitzer from the point. Coming here, Ian Vuko on the power play, and it was tied up at 1 apiece. Second frame now, Milton turns it on. The puck will pinball to Brett McKinnell, and Milton retakes the lead. It's 2-1, but just before the break, they get another on the PP. It's Will McQueen, just a tip, just for a second, in it goes. He makes it 3-1. Ice Hawks, could it happen? Yes, it could. Third period, they ice it. It's actually Andre Brett that should have gotten credit for this goal as he fires it in from the point there, but he doesn't care. Milton wins. Milton wins. The Hawks grab their third win of the season, a much-deserved 4-1 triumph over the Spirit. Okay, Kingston trying to see if they can improve their seeding for the playoffs, visiting the Spirit. Rob Clerk, the Dipsy Doodle dandy here, very nice. Top 5 nominee there. V's out to the 1-0 lead. Second period was all Kingston, and this play was all Clerk as he does all the heavy lifting. Dorian Overland following up and putting it home, and that makes it 2-0 V's. A minute 30 later, V's on the PP. The point shot gets deflected home by Brandon Nadeau. 3-zip for the boys from the Limestone City, and then one more. Sean Robinson bulges the twine. 4-0 Kingston. That would be more than enough on this day as the V shut out Stouffville 4-0. They're currently the 4th seed in the Northeast Conference. Okay, Newmarket visiting the Junior Canadians last Sunday. No scoring in the first. Pick it up in the second. Chase Spencer puts a hex on Fraser Kirk here or something. In it goes. And take another look. Fraser Kirk steps on a gumball or something and wipes out hard. Easy goal for Spencer. I haven't seen that all year, actually. 1-0. But the Grecian assassin evens it up before the break. Dimitri Mikrogianakis. Boom. One-timer. And it was all tied up at 1 apiece. Third frame, top 5 nominee here, Jake Joffe, making things happen as he will set up Chad Lopez for the one-timer, and the JRCs retake the lead. They go up 2-1, and they would add one more for good measure as Matthew DeCesare to the streaking Jason Pinio, executed to perfection. And yeah, that makes it 3-1 for the Junior Habs. And it finished up that way. The JRCs now just 2 points behind Oakville for third place in the South Division.
Well, the Toronto Patriots have really taken things to another level over the last month, to the tune of just 2 losses in their last 15 games. Now, that streak has vaulted the Pats to the top of the OJ overall standings, and led by veteran standout Andrew Petrucci, has them brimming with confidence as the playoffs approach. All their talents were on full display against St. Mike's last weekend.
The Pats lead the league in goals scored by a huge margin, and you're about to find out why. Their offense was clicking. Michael Bushi drawing first blood for the Pats with a sweet finish. 1-0 Toronto, but the Buzzers hit back. Dylan Jackson to Carmine Alberga. St. Mike's makes it 1-1, and then another top 5 nominee, Cameron Searles, the sweet little spin there. The setup for Jonah Alexander. Buzzers up 2-1. Could an upset be brewing? The answer, no. Second period, Colton Klesic outweights Cosimo Lazzarino to knot things up, and it's 2-2. And then Nicholas Favaro out front deposits the feed to make it 3-2. And then Andrew Petrucci tips it home to make it 4-2. Bing, bang, boom. That's how fast the Patriots can embarrass you. Third period, Nicholas Alomatario makes it a 3-goal bulge for Toronto. And then Nicholas Favaro showing off the soft hands here as he goes roof daddy to make it 6-2. And they would add one more for the 7-2 triumph. The Patriots, as mentioned, with the top record in the entire OJHL right now. One more before the break. Whitby trying to catch 8th place Pickering in the Northeast in Georgetown. 22 seconds in, sloppy Brendan D'Agostino steals, feeds Andrew Court, 1-zip Raiders. Second period, Whitby would equalize. Shane Bull packing some TNT in his stick, a cannon of a shot there to beat Troy Timpano. Knotted up at 1 apiece, but just 50 seconds later, Alex Hirosky can't smother the puck. Justin Paul pounces, and it's 2-1. And then on the power play, Raiders 2-on-1. Jonathan Hampton to Derek McVeigh, and it's a 2-goal Raiders bulge. Third period, one more for good measure as Austin Cho tees it up, and boom, makes it 4-1. So G-Town grabs 2 points. Suddenly they're just 5 behind the Pats for first in the conference, although Toronto does have 2 games in hand. A reminder, the OJ Combine coming up in April in Oshawa. Players, you can showcase your skills to all OJHL teams, and each player is guaranteed 3 games. OJHLcombine.ca to find out more information. Let's take a look at the standings. Before the break, Aurora leading the North by 4 points over Newmarket, followed by Markham, then Pickering, Stouffville, and Lindsay. Then we head out east. Wellington, 10 points lead over Kingston, followed by Cobourg, and Trenton and Whitby still scrambling, trying to get that last playoff spot in the conference. In the south, the Patriots, 4-point lead over North York, followed closely by Oakville, the Junior Canadians, St. Mike's, and Mississauga in 6th. And in the west, Georgetown with a big lead now over Buffalo, who slid a bit last week, followed by Orangeville, Burlington, and Milton picking up its 3rd win of the season, 9 points so far on the year.
Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ Today. The Pickering Panthers have been such a great story this year. Now, last season, they won just 9 games and finished in the basement of the North Division, but that wasn't entirely unexpected. The franchise was rebuilding, and they knew that there would be growing pains. Well, the patience is paid off this year as the Panthers have significantly turned around their fortunes, and they currently hold down the 8th and final playoff spot in the Northeast. We take a closer look now at what's been working for the Panthers in this week's team report, brought to you by Cliff Bar, official energy and sports nutrition food of the OJHL.
When you win 9 games out of 54, it's tough to put a positive spin on things. But for the Pickering Panthers, the outlook was nothing but positive after last season. The growing pains were anticipated, and it was all part of a long-term plan.
I think we learned a lot about ourselves. We went into last year knowing that we really wanted to create a culture, and basically we rebranded the organization, just built something from the ground up. So last year, it was difficult. You know, I said this before, I probably never have to coach as much as I did last year, as I've ever done before. But, you know, minimal success, but I think we started the foundation of something special this year and going forward.
The turnaround for the Panthers this year has been impressive. They sit right around the 500 mark and are currently holding down the 8th and final playoff spot in the Northeast.
Obviously, we started off the year with a young group of guys, but you know, they've shown that we got a lot of maturity for being a young group, and we've been playing well throughout the year.
I think we're trying to play the right way from day one. We're still fairly young when it comes to this league, and you know, you can see our growth day in and day out. We're trying to play a particular brand of hockey where we're going north, we're playing fast, we're in your face. You know, we like to score, but we're trying to also play the right way in our own zone.
2 keys to the Pickering turnaround came from players acquired from Stouffville in the offseason. Team captain Josh Arger and forward Andrew Hughes.
Well, he's definitely a skillful forward, a leader for sure on our team. That's why he's wearing the C this year. He's been in the league for 3 years, so he knows what it takes to win and be successful. Puck moving guy, loves to pass, also loves to shoot. He's got a great release, so he's definitely a big asset for our team as far as scoring and being a leader for us.
Andrew Hughes, he's been scoring at a great pace. He just gives us that speed down the left wing that I don't think we had, and he's very dynamic, and you know, he pushes our pace. We like to play fast, and that's the way he plays, so he's fitting really well.
Dustin McFall was recently listed on the NHL midterm draft rankings, and the defenseman has been a standout this year.
Well, McFall, he's a rookie, came to us here, he's a 2000, extremely good player. Very poised with the puck, big body out there, he can skate really well, he's got a lot of potential. Very reliable on the back end, he can run the power play really well. He came to us, he didn't, not a lot of us, well, I know the players didn't really know a lot about him, but he quickly showed in the first couple of games that he's been a very good player for us. A lot of potential again.
Adam Wisco and Ethan Langevin have provided solid goaltending, Langevin being just 16 years old, and others have been stepping up. Davis Tegan Katsumi has improved on a solid rookie season last year.
Davis Tegan Katsumi. I really don't think yet he knows how good he is. Very humble kid, another great person. Plays the game the right way, and when he plays heavy, he's unstoppable. As a 17-year-old last year, he was on our first line, playing in all key situations, did everything for us. He's playing the right way more consistently than he did last year, and he's got a bright future in this game. He's going to be a star in this league in the next couple of years. Brock Trail is a kid I coached 4 years ago in Stouffville when he was a 17-year-old, and when we were looking at a veteran piece to our lineup, he was the kid that we target the most, and simply because he's such a great kid, and I know from experience and coaching him in Stouffville when I was there as an assistant, and the reason why the kid just works extremely hard. He does things the right way, he's coachable. I knew he'd fit greatly in the room.
With wins over OJ Powers such as Newmarket, Markham, and Georgetown this year, the Panthers have shown they can't be taken lightly, and they plan on turning a few more heads come playoff time.
Well, I think a lot of teams kind of undervalue us a bit. We're a little bit of the underdogs, but I think we can go real deep into the playoffs here and maybe have a chance at winning it all here. We got a really good group of guys, picked up a couple older guys, Andrew Hughes, Mitchell Gustafson, Brock Trail early in the year, and they've been great additions, and I really think we have a good shot at this.
Okay, before we go, our top 5 brought to you by Chaos, the official hat provider to the Ontario Junior Hockey League. Number 5, Buffalo's Trevor Pekka, don't blink, tattoos. The one-timer off the draw there against Aurora last weekend. Nice goal. Number 4, Orangeville, 2-on-1 versus Georgetown, but Nathan Torquia sprawling to deny the Flyers one-timer. Huge stop by the young keeper. Number 3, St. Mike's, Cameron Searles doing it all as he spins off the defender, sets up Jonah Alexander. Nice setup, nice finish. Number 2, Buffalo, Aurora. Double overtime, Christopher Giroday shows you why Western Michigan is pumped to get his services soon. Setting up Joe Mitzi for the OT winner. And number 1, you couldn't top this one. Brandon Yeamans going through Buffalo like a Ginsu knife through a tin can. Dancing through what? Take a look here. 1, 2, 3 Sabres for the goal. That's beautiful, and that's definitely our Chaos Play of the Week.
And that's all the time we've got for this week, folks. But just remember to keep up to date with everything regarding the OJHL, all your news, stats, standings, and stories. You can always head to ojhl.ca. And of course, you've got all your social media options there to check out as well. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next week.